Welcome back to Paul's Pod. We are joined by a very, very special guest. It is the one and only Matt Steamroll Frevola. He is fighting next week on the Adesanya card. How you doing, Matt, brother?
Bro, I'm doing good, man. Fight week is just about upon us. I'm ready to go. I can't wait to get out to the city and handle business.
Tell me, what was it like when you got the call that you were going to be fighting at Madison Square Garden? That's a fucking massive place to be fighting. So much history.
It was huge, especially for a guy from Long Island, born and raised New Yorker. It doesn't get bigger than Madison Square Garden. Just waking up, going to my coffee shop, they're asking, "Oh, when's the next fight?" I'm saying, I'm fighting November, MSG." Their eyes just light up. It's a big deal for me fighting at MSG, and I'm pumped to go out there and put on a great performance.
You've had like a lot of experience fighting on big cards so far in your UFC career. You fought on some really big fights. Do you think that experience fighting on the big cards will help you going into this one?
Uh, you know, I, I love fighting on the big cards. Every pay per view, I always want to fight on the pay per view cards. Just because just like I'm a fighter, I'm a fan as well. I love seeing all these like Stylebender walking around, Poirier walking around, Chandler. Zhang Wei Li walking around. I love seeing all these high level fighters and fighting on the
Do you
big.
feed off of it?
Yeah, I feed off of it exactly. And yeah, I think a fight's a fight. Whether it was a pay per view card or whether it was a fight night card, I'm still showing up and I'm still throwing down. So
This fight was going to happen at the beginning of the year. It got rescheduled. Do you feel as though because you've already prepared for him once already, that you've had more time to study him, that you can help? Not that it helps towards, but do you think because you've already studied him once before, you've probably gotten a little bit more time to study him even more in total? It's helped you approach this fight.
yeah, this is the second full fight camp I've done for this guy, and honestly, he's not like he's not like a Wonder Boy Thompson. He's not. He's a righty boxer with heavy hands. You know, it's like he's not much I haven't seen before. He'll throw kicks here and there, but he mainly just wants to land some heavy shots, heavy punches. Uh, and I've done 2 camps to prepare for him, and I'm ready to go. So uh, yeah, can't wait.
You've been fed from the beginning of your UFC career, just absolute killers after absolute killers. Jalen Turner, Saruki and McKinney, Valdez, and now Tenanoa Zaytel. Do you think it's helped you to get these level of opponents at the stage of your career, just to kind of, especially right at the beginning of the UFC career? It's a lot of like valuable experience, I can imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I got to the UFC at 6-0. It was pretty early, and it was kind of sink or swim. I come out, I lose my debut, and then my second fight, they give me Lando Venata, uh, an experienced guy. And I had a great fight, which was a draw, and then after that, they give me Jalen Turner. So it was sink or swim,
What a
right?
win that was, by the way, especially if you look at how well Jalen's doing now.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good win, and I definitely think every fight has molded me into what I am now, and then every camp I've evolved, and every fight I've evolved. So you're going to see the best form of the steamroller out there at MSG.
How hard is it, do you think, to improve a great deal in between fights? Especially if you're fighting regularly. Do you think it's hard to kind of take it to that new level every single fight if you're fighting so consistently, or like, did you prefer to have longer times in between fights? Like, what's it like for you?
I always say when in between fights and in between fight camps, I'm always like having fun training. I'm working on my southpaw. I'm working my karate stance. I'm just having fun with it. Doing new things. You know, and just having fun with it. And then once I get a fight, once I get a name and a date, I dial in and I sharpen, the weapons that I need for that guy. And then in between fights, I develop new weapons. And then when I get to fight, I sharpen my weapons. So I think it's it's good to do both. In between fights, you have fun, you work on things that aren't you're not the best at. If you're a boxer, you want to work on your kicks. If you're a karate guy, you work your boxing. Uh, and then once you get that name and once you get that date and that opponent, you really dial in the skills and the weapons that you need to beat that specific opponent. So you got to enjoy every part of the process. It's all fun.
Yeah, you bounced back in your last fight from that McKinney fight in such in such an amazing way. How important was it for you not only just to get the win, but to get such a dominant performance the way you did?
It was huge. I always say, the way you come back from setbacks is it really defines, who you are. And that McKinney fight was a huge setback, and I had to show the world who I was or who I am. And I went out there and I think I did that, and showed everyone, that I'm a true fighter, and I come out there and throw down, and I look to finish. And now people are putting a little bit more respect on my name, and I'm excited to go out there and do this to another undefeated opponent.
Do you think that McKinney loss was one of the hardest things that you had to overcome in your career so far?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, did you feel as though you were disrespected at all after that fight with anyone? Did you feel as though, or did you just not even bother like letting it get to you?
Yeah, yeah. I just kind of unplugged from everything, and got back to training and got back to my passion and focused on what I could control. Definitely stayed off the internet for a little bit. But again, it's all part of my story, and if it could help anybody, that's what I'm out there to do, to inspire. It doesn't matter what happens to you. You stay the course. You believe. If you truly love it and you truly put the work in, it'll work out.
Well, and I think, mate, I think you proved to everyone that you're not someone just to to walk over. You're no easy fight. I think you really showed that in your last fight. You had an unbelievable performance. Um, we've seen as of recent your teammate Naz get signed to the UFC. We've seen Merab beat Jose Aldo. You've seen Aljo get his hand raised in Abu Dhabi. What sort of an impact does that have on you, seeing your own teammates having their wins and their performances on the biggest stage?
Oh, it's huge, man. We got an amazing team, and watching Aljo go out there and handle Dillashaw like that was so motivating. Having him come back to New York and finish his camp, and really watch his work ethic, and dude, it's amazing. And you've seen it. You've seen Aljo and Marab out there. It's a great team atmosphere, and then even Nas, being able to go out to Vegas with Nas and help him and watch him achieve his dream of getting signed to the UFC. It's amazing, and that's just three guys. We got a team full of killers, of young, like hungry fighters that you're gonna start seeing on the big stages soon.
I know you don't like to look past your opponents. However, have you got any plans in mind for what you said you'd like to achieve for next year at all?
I definitely want to fight 3 times next year for sure. And I got this fight at home, which is nice, but I also love to travel, and they got some nice cards, over your way coming.
That'd
The,
be sick if you could get on the March card.
oh, that'd be. I think that lines up real nice. I'd like London in March, or God willing, I'm nice and healthy. Australia in February, cool too. I've always wanted to go to London. I've always wanted to go to Australia. Why not do it on the UFC dime?
Well, Matt Frevola, I appreciate your time, mate. I know you're very busy. I know you're at the point of camp where things start to get a little bit more stressful, a little more tiring. So I really appreciate you giving me your time tonight. Is there anything that you'd like to leave a message for your fans for next week at all? Or
Yeah, just tune into the fight. You know, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna leave everything I got in that octagon. Then I'm gonna drink a beer afterwards. So you know
No
that's what
shoey?
I mean. I mean, maybe we'll see. We'll
Well,
see.
I mean, I've got one more question for you actually. Being being from New York, like, do you feel as though this win carries a little bit more onto it just because of where it is, just because of the aura of MSG? Do you think the win will just be that extra bit special just because of where it is?
You know, we'll talk after the fight, and I'll let you know. You know, every fight is always the biggest fight. So yeah, this is the biggest fight. This victory is going to be the best victory. You know, and then probably the next fight after that, it'll be even bigger. So you know, you got to enjoy the ride.
Matt Frevola is fighting Izatar. Well, I think I'm saying his name right. Izatar next week at UFC 281 MSG. Make sure you tune in and watch Matt's fight. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a great fight. Matt, again, thank you for your time, brother.
Of course, thank you, bro.